This is Tony Lenz, Stine Corn Agronomist, and today we're going to take a look at doing stand counts and looking at staging of corn. So I'm in a plot today that was planted on April 27th, and today is May 20th. So very impressive here in southern South Dakota, where we can do a stand count when we're less than a month out. So we've had very, very good growing conditions. We've had a lot of heat units, and has allowed us to be able to come out here and stage this corn, which is in that 2 to 3 collar stage, and we'll talk about that. At how we're going to do a stand count. I went ahead and I laid out the tape measure down these 2 rows, and I went 17.5 feet on the tape measure because these are in 30-inch rows. So when we're doing our checks, especially in the 2A follow-up program, make sure you know your row spacing. Make sure you get far enough out in the field so you're away from the edge of the field where maybe we have a lot of turning around. Make sure that the planter is going along at a good speed and has a consistent flow of the planter wise, and then we're avoiding any compacted areas. We're avoiding any lot of turning around areas. So then we go ahead and we lay down our tape measure. This plot was planted at 34,000. You can see right here we have 17.5 feet marked on there. Let's come back across, and this plant is outside that 17.5 feet. This is within it, so we start counting our plants all the way down the line, and I went ahead and did on that row. And I got 33 plants, so that'll give you 33,000 plants out of 34,000. On the other side over here, we went ahead and we started with this plant because it's inside the 17.5 feet. This one would be outside. So I went down the line and took that stand count, and we ended up with also 33 plants, I should say, which would be 33,000 plants per acre out of 34,000. We ended up with a stand of 33 out of 34,000. You can see we do have a gap right here that probably was where we lost our 1,000 or 1 plant out of there. And you can go down the line. Anytime we're doing this too, especially in the 2A check in our stand counts, we want to make sure is that plant within 2 collars of the next one next to it. You can see here, right here, we have a plant that has 2 collar, and we'll talk about that, but there's 2 collars. This plant over here also has 2 collars around it, and this short one next to it is just getting ready to form its first collar. So I'm still going to count that within my plant count because it is within, it's 2 or within. So that plant will still be counted in my stand count. Now if we get 2 collars or more outside of that, then we will not count that in our stand count. We'll put that down under the area where it is 2 collars or more behind, and that will be as a designation in the info hub where you can put that in there to designate that plant was too far behind. Now that we have went through our stand count here, which we ended up with 33,000 plants out of 34,000, we're going to look at staging of a corn plant. So I went ahead and dug up a plant where my finger is on there. That was the soil line. Then you can kind of take a look at the depth. So this is going to give you a chance in your 2A follow-up to go ahead and look at what your depth of your corn is. Put a tape measure to that and get your depth of your corn. And you don't have to take up a plant. You could dig up a plant if you want. Let's look at staging here. So where my finger comes together here is going to be the first collar. So as you see where that collar wraps back around the stem of the plant and forms with that to the stem, that is going to be your first collar. Here you can see the back side where my finger is here on collar 2, where it wraps around, forms to the stem of the plant. Let me get my finger out of the way there, and you can see where that comes around the plant right there, where my thumb is, and it gives you your second collar. If we come around this plant right here, you can see where the base has formed, and that is going to give us our third collar. So we have 1, 2, 3 collar corn here, even though you have 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 leaves. So again, collar is different than how many leaves. We want to go by collars. So this is officially a great time to be out here. We've seen 2 to 3 collar. This plant right here is going to be 3 collar.